Okay, so it's 1 minute past. We have quite a few participants on the call now, so we can start. Marco Cardelli will be doing a presentation or a session on IBM Z Workload Scheduler and what's new with the latest version. And if we're lucky, we'll also get some idea of the roadmap moving forward. Okay, so I'll hand you over to Marco. He can introduce himself. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If they're relevant to that particular time, then I can break in and ask the question. At the end, you'll all be able to unmute yourselves and talk directly with Marco.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So let me introduce myself. My name is Marco Cardelli. I work in HCL as a product manager for the IBM workload automation products, portfolio of products, including the distributed and also the mainframe solution. So IBM Z Workload Scheduler, that's what we talk about today. I was previously an architect for the IBM Z Workload Scheduler product in my years in IBM. Then I moved to HCL when we signed the partnership between IBM and HCL on the management of in IP partnership of the workload automation products. So now I think I can start to talk about the latest announcements of the new release version 10.1 and our strategy around the mainframe solution. So let me start with just a few words on our strategy. The world is going hybrid. This is actually a very true statement. In the IT environments, in every customer shop, include both new cloud applications, perhaps cloud native applications, and at the same time, they still have legacy applications or simply applications running on different platforms like mainframe or even iSeries. And it's not necessary to rewrite all the applications just to move them all to the cloud. It's still possible to keep your mainframe workloads where they are, the mainframe applications where they are. Don't go through the experience of rewriting all the applications or moving the workloads to another platform, but you can still also manage your new cloud applications and your legacy applications on the mainframe all together at the same time and with one unique tool. This is around managing all your workloads with workload automation, whether from a distributed mainframe engine or a mainframe engine. You can still manage all your applications, both in the mainframe and in the cloud environment. So what's the strategy that we have on the mainframe? HCL is still investing on the IBM Z Workload Scheduler solution. As a matter of fact, we just delivered this year a new version 10.1. We will deliver new enhancements on top of it for a couple of years as SPE, so PTFs on top of version 10.1. And the most important part of the strategy around the mainframe in this era is to make it open to connect with other environments, in particular cloud environments. So it's important to keep your control on your mission critical data that are probably stored in your mainframe, but also to connect the mainframe and your workloads on the mainframe with cloud applications and business applications that are running in different environments. So it's very important to us to invest in features that connect the IZ workload scheduler with other kind of interfaces, other kind of environments. And in particular, we have the dynamic workload console, our web user interface that's a way to manage from a distributed platform, from a web-based interface, all your workloads. You can, we provide also REST APIs to build your own self-service solutions or include workload automation actions in your code. We provide scenarios, ways to, we support DevOps scenarios. So we provide ways to import, export easily your job streams definitions from our product so that you can move them from a different environment like development, IZWS environment to a test environment or production environment. And that happens through a feature called WAPO that allows you to import, export our definitions. So we support the DevOps operations with our definitions. We support containers. The distributed solution is fully containerized. And so are also components of the distributed solutions that are available for mainframe engine, in particular the dynamic workload console server, but also the centric agents or other components like the new file proxy or the AI data advisor, new components that we deliver version 10 that are available on container. So we support containers on ZOS, and you will see a slide about that later. And this is through the ZCX extension. But basically, all the containers of workload automation are certified for Z Linux and can run on ZOS through the ZCX extension. Then we have an integration with Zoe, the open source tool supported by IBM that provides interfaces to work in a cloud-like style with a mainframe. And we are integrated with Zoe command line. And moreover, with version 10.1, we also delivered the integration with Z ChatOps, a Z chatbot for the mainframe that comes for free with the Z automation suite. So, moreover, we also provide the plugins of the Automation Hub. So we have a number of features that allow you to connect your mainframe workloads, your IZWS engine with all the other, with the rest of the world, let's say. In particular, we are supporting our customers that are going through their digital transformation. So if they are moving part of their workloads to cloud, but still have legacy applications, as I mentioned already, our product, both with the distributed or a mainframe engine, is one of the best tools to ensure that you don't have any delays, errors, problems, disruptions during your digital transformation, because we can manage workloads in all kind of platforms, from cloud native to cloud to standard cloud virtual machines to legacy environments. We can manage all of them seamlessly with just one point of control. As a matter of fact, our value proposition is to automate more, automate better, which means that we want to allow you to automate as many automation scenarios as possible with our product. Not only the our traditional heritage of being a batch scheduler, that's always true, but we can do much more. We can run transactional workloads, we can run event-driven workloads, and we can run integrate through our plugins with many different business applications. We provide a single point of control, and in particular with our web user interface, we provide graphical views, dashboards, where you can monitor altogether all your workloads. Even if you have multiple engines or hybrid configuration with a distributed and a mainframe engine, you can monitor altogether all of them with one single dynamic workload console. Moreover, we provide features in our product to ensure that you can provide to your customers an SLA compliance. So basically, we allow to define your SLAs of the SLAs of your critical endpoints through the critical job definitions. We allow prediction on that through our planning and through our critical path management. And we also provide the possibility to simulate actions on the workloads and verify what is going to be the impact of those actions through the what if capability. So we have a set of features that we call workload prediction. Basically, you can obviously IZWS is running on the mainframe with the engine part, with the trackers, but we also provide an end-to-end solution with decentric agents that can be deployed on any Kubernetes platform. So you have multiple ways to manage these workloads and these cloud environments. I also want to remind you that we have a different offering where IBM Z Workload Scheduler it's included. It's called the IBM Z Service Automation Suite, and it's a bundle of 3 different products: the Z Workload Scheduler, Z System Automation, and Z NetView, that include also 2 important tools: the Service Management Unite Enterprise Edition, which is a web user interface that combines the 3 products together with views and ways to launch in context the single UIs of the individual UIs of the products, and Z Chat Ops, that is the enterprise chat platforms for the mainframe. So there are many customers that are adopting this suite for the Z Workload Scheduler because they use also the other products, or because it's convenient for them to move to this suite. But just a reminder that you can also acquire our product as a component of the IBM Z Service Automation Suite. I will also to remind you that there will be a session tomorrow morning, I think at 10:30 GMT time, with Wolfgang Scheberle, that is the offering manager of IZWS in IBM. He will talk more about the suite and all the integration in the IBM ecosystem. Now let's go back to the fact that you can actually, with our product, manage your cloud journey. So all the distributed components can be deployed, are containerized, and can be deployed on Kubernetes platforms, are certified for all the main cloud providers, and Red Hat OpenShift. The main cloud providers are Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google. So this all is all supported. You can deploy all the components, including the Z-centric agents on these environments. Actually, you can decide to manage your cloud native applications in multiple ways. You can deploy the agent on the cloud environment where you want to run the workloads, but you can also manage those applications remotely. So with an agent, a Z-centric agent installed in a different container or in a different cloud system, or it's very flexible. We support all the possible combinations. And how you can manage those applications remotely? By using some of our plugins. We have the Automation Hub. I will talk about that in a moment, in the next slide, where we publish all our integrations. And in particular, there are REST APIs plugin, a generic REST API plugin that is able to manage any applications that provides REST APIs, a Kubernetes plugin for all containerized applications. And besides that, we have all a bunch of direct integration with some cloud provider services, in particular, always for AWS, Google, and Azure. So these are the different ways you can manage cloud applications, even from a mainframe engine. Let me talk about our Automation Hub. This is a very important part of our investment. We have a dedicated team to develop plugins, and basically we deliver new plugins for every quarter, since we have a continuous delivery process for those. And our plugins have now reached almost, we're going soon to get to hit the 100 target. We have currently more than 90, I think about 93 or 94. These are plugins that allow you to integrate with a no-code approach, orchestrate all these kind of applications. Basically, what you can do is to open a specific job type in our web user interface, just write the parameters that are needed to orchestrate that application. And then you have the job that will do that without the need of writing any script. We have plugins for many different automation domains like ERP, integrations, ETL and big data, file transfer, relational databases, cloud services, RPA. It's another very important part of our strategy to allow our customers to orchestrate RPA tasks, RPA bots. That's important because the RPA platforms do not provide orchestration capabilities that are, let's say, at the enterprise level, able to manage all your workloads. So with our product, you can manage both the rest of your workloads, the rest of your applications, and also RPA tools. In particular, UiPath, Automation Anywhere. We are integrating right now with IBM RPA. So it's in plan for the second quarter of 2023. We have also data center automation plugins. So for IT scenarios, for IT domain like Ansible, Chef, Urban Code Deploy. So we have very many different plugins that allow you to integrate these applications in your workflows. All of these plugins are published on our Automation Hub. It's our marketplace of integrations. It's a marketplace, but all the plugins that we developed are out of the box for our customers. So there is no extra charge unless you need a few of the plugins that have been developed by our business partners. So only those that are developed by business partners may be charged, but most of these are out of the box. We also provide a free development kit for customers and business partners to develop their own integrations. So this is all available on our website, yourautomationhub.io. So please visit this our marketplace of integrations. You will find all the description of the scenarios, links to videos to understand how an integration works, and all sort of documentation about it. This is a reminder of our end-to-end architecture. With the Z engine is called a controller that obviously manages, connects and manages all the Z trackers. So the trackers that run in different LPARs. Obviously, you can have high availability with standby controllers. So you can have multiple controllers that are in what we call an OPC plex. You can have trackers connected. You can manage the workloads with the dynamic workload console. And you can have end-to-end with the centric agents that can run on premises. The centric agents can be deployed on cloud, and you can even use a dynamic domain manager in the middle with agent pools to basically use all the dynamic capabilities. So in particular, the possibility to group agent in pools and submit directly to any of the agents in the pool, even scheduling that operation on a single workstation. So you have multiple configurations available, and we support end-to-end. And I have examples of customers who are running their cloud workloads from a mainframe engine, who are managing them from a mainframe engine. So if you are wondering if you could do that with your mainframe engine, the answer is yes, you can certainly do that. Let's now talk about the contents of the latest release, version 10.1. It was delivered in March 2022, so last year, less than a year ago. And in December, we already delivered the first SPE and fix pack on top of version 10.1. So I will talk about all the contents delivered in 2022 before giving you some an outlook to what we intend to do in 2023, and also to some strategic projects that we are planning to implement in conjunction with the Z system. So let's talk about the new ideas of version 10. We talk about enhancing the operational experience. We have delivered a new component called AI Data Advisor that allows anomaly detection. I will talk about it a little more in details in the next slides. We have enabled observability for the distributed components, and we plan to extend it also to the Z components to allow integration with tools like IBM Instana and other tools, other vendor tools like Splunk, Elastic, Datadog, Dynatrace, and so on, all the observability tools that are the new, let's say, evolution of the monitoring. We also integrated our IZWS solution with the chat ops, the chat enterprise tool. And this is all in the area of enhancing the operational experience with the product. Then another important big idea was to work on optimizing your data transfers and processing. How? You were already able to use our FTP plugin, the plugin that uses FTP protocols to transfer files, but we have added one important capability, so the possibility to use your agents to move files from one node to another, and that's called agent-to-agent protocol. So either with integrations with FTP tools, FTP plugin, or other managed file transfer tools like we support, for example, plugins for Sterling Connect Direct and plugins for Axway. But even using your own decentric agents, you can move files in your IT environment with the agent-to-agent protocol. I will talk more about that. The third big idea was about a complete renewal of the modeling part of our web user interface. We call that one-stop automation modeling, because we really simplified the UI for the modeling part. It's called Workload Designer. It's a new UI with a single interface to develop all your database objects. Very easy to use, with a lot of improvements in comparison to the old interface, and also an integration with a new self-service catalog that we delivered in December. I will talk more about all these items in this next slides. Let's start with the AI machine learning and enhancement of the AI data advisor. So what it is a new component that includes AI machine learning intelligence. It's available on container, so it runs on distributed platforms or container. And it's the first scenario that we decided to implement with AI machine learning support to enhance the IBM workload automation operational experience. We plan to do more in the future, also to work on alerts and messaging, noise reduction, job issues, root cause analysis, and self-repairing, AI to improve the usability of the dynamic workload console with, suggesting fields for when you define objects and other ways to use AI and machine learning. But let's now concentrate on what we delivered on version 10.1. We delivered the AI data advisor. It's a new component, and what it does, it reads data provided by the engines, both distributed and mainframe. These data are statistics about the execution of the workloads and are provided in open standard format. So this new component performs anomaly detection using this data, and also a UI for historical data analysis. So what is the idea behind this? Normally, what we can call power operators of the product with a lot of experience, and they can detect, looking at the dashboards, looking at how the workload is executing, if there is anything that is going different from normal, different from expected. But we want to allow any operator to be a power operator relying on our AI data advisor. So we want to transpose their experience into the product and alert the operators if there is anything that is going different from what should be expected from that day in comparison with historical data. So the AI data advisor reads this data through, I said open standard, I meant open metrics before. The metrics, the execution of the workloads are provided in open metrics format. The AI data advisor reads periodically this data and analyze them, predicts trends, and detects anomaly. If an anomaly is detected, an alert is sent to the operators, and they can launch in context an historical data UI, which provides charts on the execution of the workloads and can help to detect where the problem relies. So basically, this component learns with machine learning how your workload performs every day. And by reading the execution data of one specific day, is able to compare with the historical data and tell you if there are anomalies. The second topic was managed file transfer. This is a very important feature we added to the product. It's provided also, this is out of the box, so there is no extra charge for using the agent-to-agent protocol and move your files in your environment with our agents. The new file proxy, there is a new component called file proxy that physically moves files from an agent to another using HTTP secure protocol. Can be deployed with a traditional installation on a distributed platform or on a container. Manages file transfer for distributed agents or decentric agents, and can be as a standalone, which is the configuration available for mainframe engine, can be configured in high availability. We have a dedicated detailed view for file transfer jobs, and you can see all the details of the execution of the workload of the file transfer. As a summary, what are the capabilities of managed file transfer that we provide with version 10.1? We have dedicated sorry, we have dedicated dashboards for file transfer jobs. You can define jobs with multiple file transfer in the same job executing in parallel. You can select files to retransfer each of them separately. You can rerun each of the file transfer from the point of failure. You can use wildcards and regular expressions to define post-processing, post-file transfer processing actions like renaming files after moving them or deleting them. And you can also transfer files to and from these systems. Let's take a look now at the new workload designer. It provides a streamlined single point of control for the design of all your workload automation objects, database objects. It's obviously based on the security authority for each object, includes workstation, event rules is for distributed, but also all the database objects for mainframe engines are available. So It's a unified workload automation object definition. There are a lot of improvements. There's an improved search functionality. There's a possibility to see the object listing based on hierarchical views. And you can edit multiple objects at the same time. There is a new workload designer explore area that is organized in different parts and fully customizable. So you have a landing page for your workload designer that can be fully customized on your according to your needs. Moreover, the workspace area is smart and flexible as it contains all the attributes in just one panel. You can just scroll with a vertical layout, the vertical layout to get all the information, all the fields, all the attributes that you need to define. You can switch from an object to another very quickly and easily. And there is, you can increase the focus only on the most relevant actions or the most relevant parts of the object. So it's a very usable new interface. The first, in the first fixed backend with SP1 delivered in December of 2022, we also delivered a new functionality. Well, it's actually a functionality that was already there, the self-service catalog, but it's being completely renewed and integrated in the new workload designer. So you can create the services now from the workload designer as any other object. And it's actually a job stream that you are defining as a service. Well, let me remind you what is the self-service catalog. Basically, it's a different interface to the product, simplified with very simple concepts that can be targeted for your application developers or your business users. It provides a view of job streams execution as services. So you define, they see them in a proper dedicated interface as services that they can submit. They can provide parameters and track the service for success. But behind this service definition, you have a job stream, a standard job stream that you can define as a service. There are also new catalog tagging options, so you can find tags that will be you can be used later for performing queries on catalogs. You can create a configure service variables that will be used for variable substitution in the job stream execution. And these parameters obviously can be provided by the user that is submitting the service. So you have this new possibility to define a job stream as a service, catalog service. You can define tags. And then you can add variables that will be used for variable substitution in the job stream execution. Obviously, you can provide values and even rules to validate for the values that are provided at the submission time. Then you have your own interface to monitor the services. And moreover, remember that we also provide a mobile interface for the self-service catalog. So you can monitor, execute and monitor your services from a mobile interface. Another Important new feature of 10.1 for IZWS was the integration with the IBM Z ChatOps. So this is a chatbot that can be integrated with some of the most important tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Mattermost. The important part of this chat is also that is integrated with different Z products. So we provided the integration with Z Workload Scheduler, but it is also integrated with Z System Automation and NetView, with Omegamon, and Z Operation Analytics. So it's an instrument, very important instrument for cooperating on the to analyze, operate the Z environment from a chat. You can get you get alerts and events that appear in the chat. You can ask for domain information. You can also take actions through the chatbot, drill down to some web-based dashboards. You can easily share information with all the other people in the chat, and basically engage in collaborative workflow to resolve problems, to resolve issues. So this is can be a powerful instrument for collaborative workflow resolution in your Z environment. This tool is provided out of the box with the Z System Automation Service Suite, but it's also available for customers who have, will be also available for customers who have IZWS. And the other important integration is the extension of Zoe. Zoe is an open source tool supported by IBM that provides a web user interface, a command line, in Visual Studio Code extension with what is called the Zoe Explorer. Then there is the Zoe command line and the Zoe application framework. Now, workload automation, workload scheduler is integrated with the command line. So you can use Zoe command line to submit commands also to IBM Z Workload Scheduler. And obviously, those commands will leverage our workload automation APIs. Some other important part is that we support the possibility to install your workload automation containers on CZX. In particular, this is can be important for the Z Workload Scheduler, the Z, for the dynamic workload console, for the Z Workload Scheduler agent, the Z-centric agent, and also for other components like the file proxy. You can, if you use the ZCX extension of the system and supported by the later version of the ZOS system, you can install the dynamic workload console or the Z-centric agent or the file proxy and run them as container on a ZOS address space. So obviously this allows you to install these components directly on the ZOS system, reducing installation efforts for the distributed components of IZWS. You can use a browser-based interface for the management of file transfer. And you don't need, with ZCX, to separately provision and manage the Linux environment, because applications will run directly, this container will run directly as a ZOS address spaces. Now let's come to the future, part of this this is a roadmap that includes what has been delivered in December and what we plan to deliver in 2023. So we have more announcements coming on AI. In particular, we are also, as you will see as last topic of this presentation, we are also working on AI influences US job scheduling. Then we are planning to integrate with the JCL Expert tool. We will do that through the dynamic work console and also through our ISPF panels. The idea is that on one side, you will be able to use the IBM JCL Expert tool also with variable AWS variable substitution to perform your JCL validation. But also you will be able to, let's say, query the JCL Expert use the JCL Expert from the IZWS interfaces, either to launch JCL Expert from the dynamic workload console or from ISPF panels for JCL verification. We will provide enhancements to simplify migrations from competitive products. We will enhance in the future the dynamic workload console also for some Z-specific use cases. Here, this year, we are talking about JCL Expert. Well, we plan to do more support for Z-specific features in the near future. The self-service catalog will be enhanced with an approval flow, also for the Z customers. We are going to provide more and more integrations on the Automation Hub and also for observability. We are planning to improve the integrations that we have with IZBR, another important tool provided by IBM. And on the core Z workload scheduler part, we will provide support for enhancement requests coming from customers. We have just released in December with the SPE the RACF queuing support for TCP/IP OPT options. So for TCP/IP communication between Z components. We have also provided support for TLS 1.3 security for as a secure protocol. And we are working on many different other requirements. Obviously, also some requirements will be in common for the distributed and Z solution. Now, just 3-4 minutes before looking at possible questions. For AI influence scheduling, this is a very important project that the system has. IBM Z is planning to add in the next ZOS releases new functionalities to leverage AI to optimize the job execution on JS. And this functionality requires the contribution of the job scheduling tools that run on the mainframe, because they need the job scheduling tools to select, individuate the concept of job instances and to provide job statistics. So the idea is to use AI to solve problems that are quite common with batch scheduling. What should be the best job to run next? What system should a job run on? How to balance in the best way the sysplex resources. And also, if the sysplex can anticipate what is going to be scheduled, submitted next, and react appropriately. So all kind of concepts that are new, let's say, for the Z platform. So to solve these problems, there is need to collect information from SMF records, historic information on the job execution. There is need of live data to profile all the jobs that are submitted. And also some insights on peculiarity of the jobs of that job. So for example, if it's processing data, if it has an amount of data that is really 5 times than the normal amount. Then obviously we need to consider information that are available to the scheduler. So is a job on a critical path? If a job is not critical, does it have a deadline, and what is it? And the possibility to adjust dynamically the conditions. For example, non-critical jobs that become critical because they are selected like that, modified by customers or for any other reason. Today, the job scheduler provides the scheduling tasks by submitting jobs to the job entry subsystem that manages the queues and the initiator queues. So what is the part of a job scheduler tool in this scenario? Well, first of all, the job scheduler knowledge about jobs, about the correlation of multiple runs of the same job instance, can store information about the execution of previous executions of a job, and can provide this information at some job submission. So there are 2 points of interaction between the Z system and a job scheduling tool. A job termination, the job scheduling tool should collect information about job resource usage. A job submission can provide information about the previous runs of the jobs. So here is the picture of the job scheduling, ZOS job scheduling environment will look after this announcement. Because the job scheduler tool will save the job info plus any insights at job submission. And the job scheduler will also save the statistics about the job execution after the job terminates. So that's the important role of the job scheduling tool. And I'm proud to say that IZWS will be probably the first scheduler tool to be fully integrated in this AI influenced scheduling. We have a roadmap of integration to provide this, to support this scenario. And for this first year, we will implement yearly submission of jobs with a not expired time dependency using the sys hold until symbol. We plan in the second phase to collect job information at job completion time and store them in one of our V10 files, and also provide the job identity through a token and historical statistics information at job submission time. So for now, this year, we plan to implement the usage of these symbols, sys hold until, sys job token, and sys deadline, and provide this information at JAS. And in the second phase, probably next year, we will also provide, or we will collect and provide, we will collect the statistics around the job execution and provide it at job submission. And so in a couple of years, this project will be completed, and we will use AI to optimize the job submission, the job's execution in a ZOS environment. Okay, this was my last slide. So let's see now if there are any questions.
There was one question in the chat from Neil Adamson. He said he presumed we can limit who has access to the chat bot and the actions each user is able to perform. I missed anything there about security, so I assume so, but yes.
Yeah, that's basically true, because obviously any action that can be performed through the chat will go through the API interface, and so as any other call, as any other interface that is talking to the controller, there are the security that can be used to limit the users that can perform some actions. So that will be completely used also by this interface. So all the security that is normally available for ISPF interface or DWC interface, it's also available for the chatbot.
Thank you. I have allowed you to unmute yourselves if you have any questions you would like to ask Marco directly. Please feel free to do so. And also, while I'm talking to you, I'll just remind you about feedback. If you could please put your feedback in for session 3C, that would be appreciated. You can access the feedback from your Bring Your Own Agenda entry. There is a feedback link there too. So, any questions?
Hi, this is Mark Roper. I have a question around the AI.
Okay.
So I kind of think I get where you're going, but it would be clearer to me do you have any kind of use case in mind where this AI comes into play?
You're talking about the last topic
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here the point is that the Z system is thinking about using AI to optimize the execution of the jobs on the system. I don't have all the details of how they want to do that, but it includes interactions with WLM and JES, obviously. So what they need from a scheduling tool is to know the history of a job that is submitted. By knowing that information when the job is submitted, they can react properly and let's say give the proper resources to that job, and knowing also the importance of the job can be selected in a queue first before other jobs. So it's a way to drive on one side to drive the execution of the workloads based also on historical information that can help to manage in the best way the resources of the system. So that's I know it's high level, but there is material from IBM Z system on what is their statement of direction in this area, and probably you will get more information in the next months when they start talking about these new features.
Sure. I guess from the way I'm hearing it at the moment is I don't see where the problem is that it's trying to fix. All of those things are kind of available at the moment with regards to how you configure your system and your scheduler and what targets you give it to achieve. So while it would be great to analyze the data and get alerts for review by a real person to say there may be problems here.
Oh, but then you're talking about another feature. So there are two different topics around AI in this presentation. One is about a feature that was delivered by IZWS, IBM Workload Automation, and it's the AI Data Advisor that is going to compare the execution of the statistics of your workload, like the number of jobs that are in status started, the number of jobs that are ready, waiting for being submitted, the number of jobs in error. It will perform this kind of analysis in comparison with previous execution, with previous days, let's say, or similar days, actually, because through machine learning, it should learn your execution cycles. So it will, in this case, the operator can be alerted to understand that something is going different from usual. For example, today I have many jobs in queue ready for being submitted, many more than normal. Maybe there is something wrong in one system. Maybe I have something slowing down somewhere. Maybe a job is taking more time than expected and consuming resources and delaying the execution of other jobs. I don't know, can be many different scenarios. And a simple alert tells you that there might be something different from usual and could be something that you expect or not. And in this case, you can analyze some historical data execution and understand perhaps where the problem could be. So this is the feature that we have delivered with 10.1. Something completely different is the usage of AI on the ZOS system to let's say optimize the execution of the workload. This will be done by the system, not by IZWS. We will only cooperate with the system, providing information that are useful for JAS, Workload Manager, and any other Z component to optimize the execution of the workload on the Z system. But it's not done by IZWS. In this case, we only we cooperate with the system, providing the proper information.
Right, thank you. That clarifies the differentiation. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
To make the best use of the AI, it sounds like.
Anyone else?
Question: how does the system cope when you have unplanned additional batch processing taking place? So your AI seems to be based on
historical information, right?
Yeah, and I'm wondering what happens if you have a need to run a like sometimes you need to run a standalone schedule for maybe a certain event or certain other activities that take place. How does your system, does it not throw everything out of schedule? And is there a way to control that, to stop the...
Well, okay, so how the system reacts is something that we need to ask to the ZOS experts. But I guess that, for example, if that dynamic that work that is dynamically executed and on demand, not, let's say, not expected, may be relevant or not, maybe something that you need to execute, but it's not high priority, or instead could be high priority. And you can, if you, for example, those workloads, you flag them as critical jobs, critical endpoints, we could let the system know that those are critical, and they can properly react even if it's not planned.
And just to follow up on this question, is your tool intended more as a kind of a second set of eyes rather than a definitive, this is the system managing it? Is it kind of just saying to you that potentially there's a problem in the schedule here and you need to be aware and maybe investigate? So you might want, say, another product alongside the TWS to analyze the schedules. I'm just thinking of like a graph product or something to see.
It depends on how you monitor your environment, but this scenario of anomaly detection just alerts you that the execution of the workload is going different from normal, let's say from usual. Then you can use the information from the dynamic workload console or the specific UI to do some, some analysis of the data. But then perhaps if there is the slowdown is coming from something on the system, then you probably need to go and look somewhere else. But
yeah, I'm sort of thinking a lot of retail customers, they have like certain times where they need to run they'll run a whole schedule in addition to what would normally be running.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking, when you're doing something like that, that's probably when you also want to be looking at maybe something that gives you a view of your product's going to be alerting that things are behind, but you probably want something like your product and maybe just analysis of the actual schedules, to see where you are, to have a high level view, so that you can manage the impact between an ad hoc schedule being run for, say, a promotional event or some other activities combined with the schedule, so that you're not always just going to be reliant on this product, I think is what I've understood from this, which is fine. It's just I wanted to understand how your product is going. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
And one quick one from me. It sounds like it's going to need quite a lot of historical data to make it useful. Is it going to be possible to seed it with some of the existing data we have about job execution times, etc., just to give it a running start?
Okay. No, at the moment, this is not possible if we start collecting data when you start configuring the feature. But I already received this question, and could be a requirement for something to improve in a future version of this component. So also be able to use historical already collected data to.
Yeah. I mean, it might be useful to for people who are planning to deploy it, to give them just a data collection agent of some sort that can collect
I understand
the right sort of data right at the get-go before they even start.
Yes, your comment makes completely sense.
I think your question's just been asked in a different way, but where is your job feed of data coming from? Where is it? Is it fed from a data store somewhere? How are you getting this information?
Is the workload automation engine, the Z controller that provides statistics on the execution of the workload in open metrics format, and these data are read from the AI data advisor. So it's live data that is consumed by the component, and obviously to learn your cycles, it may take a while, because it has to analyze data from many days, let's say.
one last question on this. Would you need the data for every job, or would it just be taking key headline jobs? So
That's
maybe a job.
something you can configure.
Okay.
So you can decide to let's say to monitor the overall workload, or to select some specific jobs, individual jobs to monitor.
One of my questions here is, one of the products that I support indirectly is a product called TWS Graph, and I'm trying to understand if you would maybe want to map certain headline jobs that trigger key parts of the schedule, which would be easy to see visually as a kind of graph of the jobs and what's happening. Whether that would be what I would then be wanting to be putting into this system, so that I kind of know this is going to be a key point in my schedule that starts off a whole load of more schedule. So if I concentrate on this job, the time it runs, how long it takes, make sure that's okay, which is the way we've done it in the past, like make it a key job.
You can always achieve that through the standard dynamic workload console panels, because you can have queries filtered on your critical jobs and just monitor them. But for standard monitoring. But also here, what happens is that the data collected are very general, so are related to let's say data related to the overall workload execution. Then you can decide to filter this data on specific jobs of your interest.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think something you might want to consider, Marco, is the what if feature. It would be quite nice if the what if feature was showing you how the work was scheduled, and then also showing you on top what's actually happening. That, I think, gives a very clear picture. It would also help people to understand if their scheduling information is actually providing anything close to what actually happens, because I think all these features require that type of knowledge within the database. Okay,
thanks for the suggestion.
I just think it would give a visual. Maybe a couple of years down the line. Okay, anybody else got any more questions? Suggestions? Otherwise, we can close this call. I'd like to thank Marco for presenting, and for all of you for joining in and providing your insights too. I hope to see you again at a later presentation, but for now, thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Bye.